Hey guys, I'm Brian Paul, and it's time for some more PlayStation VR breaking news. First up, on our last episode of PSVR this week, we listed a few games that have recently gone missing in action. We reached out to the developers for comment, and we're happy to report that 2 have responded. First was Mundfish, the developers of Atomic Heart. Unfortunately though, the news isn't so great, as they confirm that not only has PlayStation VR support for Atomic Heart been pulled, but also their VR exclusive game, Soviet Luna Park, has been cancelled entirely. This was all done in an effort to focus their concentration on the non-VR version of Atomic Heart, a game that looks incredibly ambitious, so hopefully their decisions will pay off in the long run. The other developer that responded was Uncommon Chocolate, the makers of You Are Being Followed. According to them, their game has actually been finished for a while. It's now in the hands of the publisher, and we're just waiting to hear when and if they plan on releasing it. Next up, a little more sad news came this week when we heard that tactical team-based shooter Alva was being cancelled. A lot of people were surprisingly looking forward to this one, but we never saw any gameplay footage, and the team behind it, Mardenpole, was the same small team that made Quiz Night Tonight, a disaster of a trivia game released for PlayStation VR back in May of 2017. So unless something magical happened between then and now, I highly doubt the developers had the resources to create something that would stand toe-to-toe with our current FPS obsession, Firewall. So while our condolences do go out to the development team, as far as the gamers go, this probably shouldn't be considered a huge loss. Okay, so this next story is pretty much comprised of wishful thinking, but Atlas is teasing a project called Persona 5R, and no one is exactly sure of the details. The video shows a date of March 2019, so we should know more information soon, but of course the hope is that it's a VR version of Persona 5, considering that 5R could be read as VR using Roman numerals. Atlas has dipped their toes into the PlayStation VR space already with the Persona Dancing series, so this isn't completely out of the question. But if it is a VR game, will it be the full game, or just another dressing room mode? Next up, taking place in the same series as the Bard's Tale series of games, The Mage's Tale is a full-length adventure game with some puzzle-solving elements and dungeon crawler mechanics. Gameplay relies heavily on spellcrafting with a fairly open-ended crafting system that Upload VR calls, quote, not exactly a limitless system, but feels pretty close, end quote. With 10 dungeons clocking in at around an hour apiece with plenty of secrets to discover, you can easily expect this one to last you a while, upwards of 10 to 15 hours. This new trailer looks pretty great, and it's coming to PlayStation VR very, very soon, in just 1 month, on February 5th. Next up, last year developer Aoga Tech delivered a fantastic escape room game to PlayStation VR called 18 Floors. Unfortunately, due to some pretty poor communication, a lot of gamers found themselves very disappointed when the game came to a close after just 2 escape rooms. For the $15 price tag, I was happy with the amount of content we got, but even happier when publisher Winking Entertainment delivered the news of free DLC coming our way. And on December 24th, they announced the 18 Floors DLC would arrive in just 2 weeks, making the projected street date January 7th, just days away. If the rumors are to be believed, the DLC will be free and contain 2 more escape rooms, effectively doubling the size of the game. Next up, if there was ever a PlayStation VR game that needed a demo, it's Eden Tomorrow, and luckily, there's one coming this month. Very little is actually known about the game, outside of a brief description calling it a PlayStation VR exclusive, narrative-driven, in a sci-fi adventure set on a strange, frightening alien world. And at this point, all the gameplay we've seen is from about 4 years ago, during a 2015 demonstration. This trailer even sets a release date of spring of last year, so obviously a lot has been happening behind the scenes. With the demo coming this month, hopefully that means we'll see the release of this long-awaited game, sometime soon. Next up, one of my most anticipated PlayStation VR games of this year has to be Kill X, a game that recently got a release window of spring 2019. Everything about this game screams an off-rails Brookhaven experiment, from the dark, gritty horror theme and graphics to the mutated enemy designs. It's a PlayStation VR exclusive, something we're hearing more and more these days, and features full locomotion, puzzle-solving elements, and dual move support. Look for even more details right here as the release date approaches. And then finally, it wouldn't be a great breaking news report without the announcement of a new PlayStation VR game, and this one is called Bionic Mayhem VR. Scheduled for release in Q4 of this year, some levels are classic beat 'em up, some levels are first-person shoot 'em up, and some boss fights are a combination of the two. Players will be able to select from 3 characters using the DualShock 4, and as far as online and local co-op go, it's something the developers are looking into right now. Bionic Mayhem is heavily inspired by classic 2D brawlers like Final Fight and Streets of Rage, so hopefully this game will be just as much fun to play. Alright you guys, that's all the breaking news I have for you today, but make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with all the latest PlayStation VR reviews, Let's Plays, podcasts, and of course breaking news. As always, I'm Brian Paul, and I love you all.